Go ahead and record. Okay. So I think most of you are pretty used to this. We're going to record. So thank you for keeping your phones on mute. And we'll have a recording to share with folks that aren't here later. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we'll get started. This is our Rendezvous, our 2023 annual meeting. And we're celebrating tonight Park County Environmental Council's 33 years of conservation in Yellowstone's Northern Gateway. Thank you for joining us. Most of you know, I'm Michelle Ubaraga, and I've had the pleasure of serving as PCEC's executive director since 2015. And I'm joined with my co-host here tonight, PCEC board member, our vice president, Sebring Davis. So the two of us are we're gonna lead you through the evening, and I'll do a quick introduction, and then I'll pass to Sebring to tell you more about what we have in store. So quick, PCEC's mission, our mission is to work with the people of Park County to safeguard the land, water, wildlife, and people here in Yellowstone's Northern Gateway, and we do that through grassroots organizing and community advocacy. Of course, we have the privilege of living in an incredible place here at the headwaters of the Yellowstone River. We're surrounded by unparalleled beauty. This is the traditional homelands of the Apsalaka, or the Crow tribe, and many other indigenous tribes and people who consider Yellowstone part of their traditional homeland, including Yellowstone's Tukadeka, which is a band of the Shoshone tribe, and many more. So what is Park County today has a very long tradition of people who've lived here, who have loved, cherished, and stewarded this place. And that's a legacy that we are committed to continuing with your help. So thank you again for joining us. Our rendezvous has taken many different forms over the year. Since I've started almost 10 years ago, we did potlucks on the river, backyard picnics, dance parties at the barbecue, and lovely sit-down dinners at Chico. As a 501c3 membership organization, we are required to meet and have an annual meeting and conduct some business. It's an opportunity for you, our members, to vote on our board members, to get a financial update, and just learn more about what we're doing. We're also committed to making it fun, and it's an opportunity to honor community leaders. We started doing Zoom during the pandemic, and it's a really good format for a meeting. It allows people to participate from wherever they are, prevents us from driving at night in the winter, and saves a lot of valuable time and resources. So that's why we're still on Zoom, but I want you all to know that we're committed to continuing our tradition of gathering together to honor and celebrate our community. And we're planning to do that again on December 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. You can join us for a chili dinner at the Elks Lodge. And that's the staff. Last year, we decided we wanted to cook for you, and we're going to do that again. Staff and board, we're going to cook chili. Apparently it's a contest, and we want to thank you all for your commitment to PCEC and to our community over the years. So bring your friends, bring the whole family for our chili feed, where we can gather together December 6th from 5 to 7. And so we also, for those that want another way of gathering, many of us prefer outside time together. We have a PCEC ski day at the Bee Bar again this year, and that's going to be Saturday, January 13th. So you can visit our website for more details. Okay, so before we jump into the content, I want to introduce our team. Here we are. We are a growing team and a growing organization. There is endless work to do here in our community. So I want to just reintroduce members of our team. So from the top, I think we're in alphabetical order. Robin Adicott is our operations director. She's not with us tonight. She's visiting her family. We've got Bethany Allen is our landscape and conservation specialist. Jonathan Hettinger, communications director. Max Yortzberg is our conservation director. Carrie Kale is our business and community partnership director. Erica Lighthizer is our deputy director. We're welcomed this year. I'm going to do an intro of Joanna, who's our Barbara Hayes Fellow in Climate Resilience. And we've got Sarah Stans, our Community Resilience Director, and then there I am at the end of the alphabet. So we're really lucky. I want to introduce Joe. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll introduce Joe and then we'll go to our experts. So Joe is new to our team this year. Many of you might have known Catherine Pazikis, who was our first Barbara Hayes Fellow. Joe is serving in this role this year. She it's a partnership with the Montana Campus Contact Vista Resilience Cohort. And so her role with us is working to help us build climate mitigation and adaptation strategies through a climate resilience plan. So welcome, Joe. If you haven't seen her in the community, she is meeting with folks and really helping to move the work forward that Catherine worked on last year with our climate resilience planning. We're excited to have her and really grateful for the Hayes Fellowship that she's working under. And then we have a team of subject matter experts who many of you may see out in our community. I know that many of you see these folks and some less frequently, but we have the expertise of Francine Spang-Willis, who's an oral historian. She's been working with Erica and Sarah on the Crazy Mountain Oral History Project, which is a really exciting, in 2024, we'll be rolling out a podcast and you'll be hearing more about that work. Jen Magic works with us as a community planning expert, and there's so much happening in community planning. She has a really big role. And then we're so lucky to have Alicia Jongaward this year, who worked with the Park High Green Initiative and helped us coordinate our youth leadership, conservation leadership, and the climate summit. And then we have a board, our board of directors, who many of you know: Wendy Riley, our board president; Sebring, thank you for being here, our vice president; Lucinda Reinhold is our treasurer; Kelly Niles is our secretary; Joe Dorn, Nelson King, Luis Islas, Karen Cochran, Shiloh Hernandez, Dan Sullivan, Sandra Lambert, and Tom Murphy are a great group of community members we're so lucky to work with. And new this year, we have Shiloh and Sandra. So if you haven't met these folks, Shiloh is also new to Livingston. He moved in 2021. He grew up north of in Saunders County, and I actually met Shiloh. He was working at the Montana Supreme Court. He is an attorney with Earth Justice, focusing on climate change, and he brings just a depth of knowledge on environmental law to our organization and years of experience in conservation in Montana. Shiloh loves to run. He's the father of two, and just a really great new addition to our team and our community. And then we have Sandra Lambert, who's on our advisory board. And Sandra grew up out on the Missouri River in Kansas City. She is a lover of reading. She's got advanced degrees. She worked for many years as an editor. She came to us from Jackson, Wyoming, and in Jackson, she watched that community grow and change. She's really committed to helping us see a different outcome for our community. She's a lover of rivers, and she loves Livingston because she loves to fish. We're lucky to have Sandra. Okay. that will be, I think the one thing I want to say about the board is that we have an opportunity, you all have an opportunity to ratify board members. And so Jonathan sent out, and I've sent out links, and we'll put it in the chat. But that's important business that we take care of today. So you can vote on ratifying next year's board members. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Sebring to tell you more about our program for the night.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with all of you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Today, the theme of this year's annual meeting is Climate Heroes. And this year, Montana youth really showed up for the climate. In fact, in June, 16 plaintiffs took the state of Montana to court to ensure that they consider the impact of climate change in their decisions. And they won that trial. In October, Park County Youth also held the first ever Montana Youth Climate Summit here in Livingston. And this summit, attended by 50 students from across the state, allowed the youth to discuss what they can do to help with the climate crisis and find solidarity with each other when thinking about a warmer future. We at PCEC supported the Green Initiative and their advisor, Alicia Jongaward. Some of you may know her as Miss J, and putting together the whole event. But really, we learned more from the kids, and the event left us all inspired and ready to take action. We're lucky to be able to be an organization that can foster the next generation to take on the fights that we're facing today, and we're so proud to be part of that effort. So we'll start with our keynote speaker who helped make that happen, and then give a Climate Heroes Award and our annual Janet Shirey Award to a PCEC member, or maybe two. Then Erica will share our financial report, and Michelle will finish by closing with the highlights from PCEC's 2023 efforts. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Sebring. So we also are kicking off our fundraising, and I want to say thank you already because it's Giving Tuesday, and we've been receiving donations all day from our really supportive community. So thank you. But one of the purposes of our Rendezvous is to kick off our end of year fundraising campaign. And this year we have a goal of raising $100,000 by the end of the year, December 31st. And that we've got some really generous donors who have already agreed to match the first $50,000 raised. So we have, every dollar you give is doubled. And we have a lot of important work to do in 2024, and getting to reach our goals by the end of the year really sets us up for success for next year. So it's really important. And you can click to donate on our website. That link is also in the chat box. And you probably also received a letter from us in the mail. So if you want to put the envelope in the mail, that's great too. And then for anyone that donates tonight, we have gifts. We have a donation of $50 will get you a Tom Murphy 2024 calendar, and a donation of $100 will get you a calendar plus the PCEC mug, which I don't have mine here, but I'm going to get it to share. You can see the picture there. All right, back to you, Sebring.
Okay, well, I'm thrilled to introduce our keynote speaker, who I've known since she was a fantastic young person in our community as a child, Eva Molina. And Eva is a graduate and former valedictorian of Park High School, and she left an indelible mark during her time as a student as one of the founders of the Park High Green Initiative, which still continues today, thanks to her. She showcased then her early leadership and unwavering commitment to environmental stewardship. Upon graduation, she was awarded one of the largest scholarships in Park High's history, paving her way to Pomona College in Claremont, California. After successfully completing her studies there, Eva committed to returning back to Livingston, following her roots, and is residing currently in Bozeman nearby. There, she has emerged as a dynamic force as an active member of the Gallatin Valley Sunrise Movement, a nationwide collection of young people who are aimed at accelerating the climate revolution and trying to stop the climate crisis. Today, we're privileged to have Eva share her insights with us using her influential voice to advocate for a sustainable future that benefits every Montanan. Please join me in welcoming Eva, a dedicated advocate for positive change and the inspiration we all see in the future.
Everyone, thank you so much for that introduction, Sebring. I'm really honored to speak to you all today as a young person defending our right to a livable climate, which is also our right to compassion, care, and justice. As Sebring just said, in high school at Park High, I helped to found the PHS Green Initiative, who just obviously put on this remarkable Youth Climate Summit in October, which was the first ever in Montana's history. But we'll get back to that later. As a little flashback to the Green Initiative of my day, here's a photo of me and Stella picking cans out of the garbage to recycle with our classic purple gloves. Next slide. And then here's Beth and I with fabric that Community Closet donated so we could make boomerang bags, like reusable bags at the grocery store, which was actually a project we did in collaboration with PCEC. And then next slide. And oh, this is not what I thought it was good. That's okay. And here's me and my fellow Sunrisers when we were marching in the homecoming parade, just like a couple last month, I think, for at the MSU homecoming parade. And then next slide. And here's the climate summit. We were drawing our community. We did this like cool power training thing. And then next slide, and I'll start my speech. Yeah, so I'd like to share a story about my struggles doing this work and how I've come to fight for our climate with self-interest in mind, and as my fellow Sunriser Emma says, doing it joyfully. I'll explain. So the second semester of my first year of college, before the pandemic hit and we all got sent home, I presented National Sunrises campaign for Bernie Sanders to my friends. It felt like it was what I was supposed to do, but I wanted to do something about this crisis. Nervous and alone on a stage, I read a script. I looked at my friends' faces, and I worried they thought I was taking up too much space. I could barely take myself seriously. But despite my doubts, because I had posted the meeting location for anyone interested in Sunrise to see, this guy showed up. He was probably in his 30s. He wasn't affiliated with the college at all, but he was taking it really seriously. He told us he was there because in 20 years, he wanted to be able to tell his kids he was on the right side of history. At the end of my presentation, we talked with him and he encouraged us to keep going, to phone bank and call our senators, etc. I don't know how my friends felt in this moment. I mean, the guy was like, it was a little odd because he was just like not from there, but he was great. But I couldn't really imagine living up to this expectation that he was setting for us, even though I wanted to. Quite simply, I felt like I had to like do this work alone. And there was this little voice in my head that said, does it matter? Can I by myself do anything of consequence? It seemed that I would have had to wrangle my friends to do things they probably didn't want to do. I would have had to convince them that it mattered. So there are different contradictory stories, I think, that we tell ourselves and tell each other about power and the individual in like mainstream society. Quote, the individual can't do anything. quote, "But it's all on you, the individual, to figure out your carbon footprint and alleviate the climate crisis. It's all on you to convince people to care." Luckily, through organizing with Sunrise recently, a lot of self-reflection and learning from many experts and amazing people, I no longer see this as a divisive binary. Yes, I believe each of us individuals have power. And yes, I believe we are responsible for keeping our planet safe and healthy as individuals. But no, we're not each solely responsible. And no, we can't, and we don't have to do it alone, like I thought I did. I recently canvassed on election day for the Joey Morrison campaign on MSU's campus, and I confronted exactly what I was grappling with in college. I actually ran into a fellow Livingstonian who's now studying engineering at MSU. He'd grown much taller than I remembered him, and it was funny because I had to like lift my chin up to see his face. After a moment of chit-chat, I encouraged him to go vote. It was the last day and an important election for housing in Bozeman and climate. He seemed at once like willing and hesitant. At one point, he finally said, "But I'm just one person. Does my vote really matter?" And as a new organizer, this struck a chord. I gestured to all of the people walking back and forth on the pavement. "Look at all these people," I said. "They each think they're individuals, but if you look at them all together, that's a lot of people. And if they each did something, if they each went and voted, that's a lot of votes." Perhaps willing to be convinced, he said, "Okay." He said yes, he would go to the courthouse. And as you can imagine, I was really thrilled that these little words had made an impact. Joey Morrison just won the mayorship in Bozeman, which is a huge win for climate and for Montana and for us young people. And he wasn't expected to win, but he had the power of organizing on his side. His campaign was out knocking 1,000 doors or more a week. The first time I heard the word organize was actually at a Sunrise meeting. My friend Evan said, "We don't like to use the word activism, but rather organize." Organize? I was confused. I thought that meant putting your clothes away, knowing what your schedule is, making a file folder on your computer. I never thought that one could organize people. But I recently learned that organizing one's community means strengthening the connections that already exist. It means building structures of care and reciprocity to reach a larger goal that helps that community, such as a livable climate. Right now in Sunrise, I'm still learning how to organize effectively and confidently. I've only canvassed so far that one time, but I do know that it works. I really believe in it. As a firsthand witness to the Joey Morrison campaign and seeing National Sunrise's Civilian Climate Corps adopted by Biden as the American Climate Corps just this past September. As I was writing this, I realized that it felt like this story wanted to say that my struggles with climate work ended after college, but that isn't really true. When I first joined Sunrise, it was a little out of nowhere. I just messaged them on Instagram. I know that's very Gen Z. And I felt like an outsider. But I'm really grateful that that feeling didn't last too long, because Emma Bodie, who's actually, yeah, I think I can share this. She's trying to be a city commissioner, like as we speak, like the meeting's happening right now, which is amazing. She's incredible. She started an organization at MSU called Sustainability Now. She's really been such a leader at Sunrise, but she made a point of meeting with me 30 minutes before the whole group gathered to orient me when I first joined Sunrise. She was really kind. She explained their work with so much enthusiasm and clarity. And there's Evan, who met with me a couple weeks later, one-on-one. He got me to think about why I really care about this cause and how I can do this work sustainably. And then there's Isabel Sheda, who I'm sure many of you know. I met her a couple weeks later, and she has this awesome skill of giving speeches and really getting people impassioned. She rallies the troops, if you will. She's encouraged me to speak and write more for climate than my self-doubt would have ever let me. Plus, another struggle I had when I first joined was I can be really overcritical. I would feel confused or irritated following a meeting. It seemed like we weren't working fast or effectively enough. We were making these really slow decisions in like a painstaking way, it seemed. But I realized pretty quickly that being in community with these people was exactly what I needed. I'm as involved as I've ever been with local politics and policy. And strangely enough, my mental health, I think, is the best I can remember it being. The slow, careful decisions we make in Sunrise are exactly the embodiment of an anti-capitalist structure that I was looking for. Yeah, so like I gave a speech during the climate summit with Jasper Schur, who's also from Livingston, and writing that dual speech was just so awesome to not feel like we were alone. We were talking about like individual action versus collective action, and to just be standing next to my fellow organizer and friend and give a speech together was awesome. And working on these projects with the fellow members and going to meetings and making dinners and just listening to each other and laughing and singing and planning agendas and imagining and embodying the future that we want to create. I really no longer feel alone in this work, and I no longer feel scared. So I was wondering, like, what did I really need when I was attempting to organize my friends in college for climate? Seems like I needed the word organize. I needed the logic, mentorship, compassion, and adaptability of the folks in Sunrise. I really think these are people who promote working not under a martyrdom where we extend ourselves so far for a cause that we lose ourselves and burn out, but with self-interest in mind. We do this work not just because we think it's the right thing to do or we're worried for the future, but because we really have something to gain. And we have something to gain now. In the immediate moment, my self-interest in Sunrise is community. It's friendship. And because we make meals for every Sunrise meeting, it's also food. Yeah, in the long term, doing this work, I know I gain a world I feel confident playing with my future children in. I gain a world where there's air that we can breathe, there's rivers we can swim in, there's nutrient-dense soil to grow food, there's safe bike lanes and renewable energy. To be true, during all my doubts about this work in college, I think I had to look only to what I'd already bore witness to during my time at Park High. The establishment of a recycling system, the addition of solar panels on the roof, and importantly, the formation of the group who made it happen with the help, of course, of Alicia Jungaward. Park High Green Initiative. So yeah, I'm gonna circle back now. I'm just so overwhelmed and overjoyed that the current membership, which I think has at least tripled its numbers for my day, are continuing their work. And I'm a little bit surprised that you kept the name Park High Green Initiative, because I think when we came up with that name, I was like, that's so like, oh my gosh, but it's honestly awesome and I love it and it's grown on me. Yeah, you guys are going through like the hardest years of adolescence, and I think still confronting these problems with like so much spirit And obviously the held case and everything, like Sebring said, Montana youth we're gonna save the world. Like, there's no doubt about it. As Remy mentioned in her introduction of the summit, you guys wanted to attend a youth climate summit. You saw that the closest one was in freaking California and decided to instead host your own. That's admirable, to say the least. It was really incredible to come back to Livingston and be a part of something that I don't think I could have imagined at that age. Yeah, we like just started that group and we were just trying to recycle like the PC cans that everybody was throwing away in the garbage. We just wanted to make it a little bit better, but you guys have really carried it on, and I want to say I'm proud, but that feels like weird. I don't know. I feel very happy about it. But yeah, like students and speakers coming from across Montana to our little town to learn about climate is just something I'm just very overjoyed. I do believe that these kinds of gatherings are how we connect, and these connections are how this work is sustainable and dare I say fun. Yeah, thus I would like to end my speech by congratulating the folks of the Park High Green Initiative, Josie Vermillion, Georgia McCormick, Ethan Coleman, Sam Wadley, Silas Yortzberg, Taylor Robbins, Lane Peterson, Chloe Shin, Remy Sexton, Aiden Higgins, Scarlett Welch, Vicky Gasparakis, Siobhan Stevenson, Charlie Vermillion, Terry Gasparakis, and Anna Harrison on receiving the Climate Heroes Award for, quote, their exemplary commitment to advancing climate consciousness among youth through innovative solutions and a passion for sustainable change within our community and beyond. You guys rock. Thank you so much.
Eva, thank you so much. I'm accepting this award on behalf of the Green Initiative. My name's Silas, by the way, Silas Yortzberg. We're going to show it off in the school, and we wouldn't have been able to receive this award without what you started when you were in high school. And yeah, thank you so much. And with that, I would like to take this moment to recognize and thank Eva Lighthizer and Lily Doyle on behalf of the Green Initiative. For those who don't know, Eva and Lily were among the 16 youth plaintiffs in Held versus Montana trial. In the Green Initiative, we are so grateful for Eva and Lily's courage, persistence, and passion, and are honored to share this community with them. We hosted the 2023 Montana Youth Climate Summit this fall, and Eva and Lily attended along with other youth activists from around the state. Having leaders such as Eva and Lily in our midst made the event so much more impactful and legitimized our calls for change. They shared their experiences, and we hope to follow the example they have set. Eva and Lily, thank you so much for all you've done. Your hard work does not go unnoticed.
Thank you so much, Silas. It means so much that Lily and I were able to attend the Youth Climate Summit, and it was a really wonderful, beautiful experience. Lily could not be here today, but she wishes she could, and we just are both so thankful.
Well, I think that's back to me, and I just want to say thank you all for everything you've done, and we had a lot of adults that really wanted to come to the Youth Climate Summit, and Mrs. J and I were saying, well, this is students for students by students, and you guys really stepped up and demonstrated leadership in such an inspiring way for the rest of us. I feel grateful to be in the room, and I know that there are many other adults that were there that felt the same way. So thank you all for all you've done. I'm supposed to be pivoting back to donating, and that feels a little bit weird. So it was just in the way we were running things, but it is Giving Tuesday, and we really can't do this work without the support of our funders. So that is the truth. A Youth Climate Summit had a lot of generous support, and staff from PCEC, including our #1 event planner, Mrs. Carrie Kale. There was a lot of work with some caring adults to help support the youth. And that's all possible because of your guys' support for community-led conservation right here in Park County. And so we do have a goal of raising 100,000, and your every dollar is doubled today. And for $50, you get a Tom Murphy calendar, 100, you get the cup. And we would really, really love your support. It takes people, it takes gathering, and it takes dollars to get this all done. So thank you so much. And now,
Michelle, may I make a comment for a moment, please? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this is important.
please, John.
So I was in Boulogne-sur-Mer, France this summer. That's halfway between Nice and Monaco on the Mediterranean to visit my cousin. And I went to a community like a Wednesday thing that we have here in the summertime, with people bringing stuff and ware into the market to sell things. And there was a group of young people there who talked about these wonderful people in Montana that just blew my mind. And I said, I know that kid. And there was Eva. That was in France. So don't ever think that anything that you do is just local. It's global. God love you.
Thank you, John.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
And doing things together in community, that means a lot. And Eva, I really loved your words about gathering together and the joy that brings. We all need that. So thank you for demonstrating that and for sharing your story. It really means a lot. Next up, we get to give an award, our Janet Shirey Spirit Award. Janet Shirey was a community member who exemplified community service, who led in our community with her tireless spirit. And we have an award in her honor. She unfortunately passed away early and before my time, so I did not know her, but we have been honoring community members who exemplify a commitment to community and service every year. And so Erica is going to give our Janet Shirey Spirit Award this year.
Thanks, Michelle. It's a tough transition for me because you just made me cry. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's my distinct pleasure to present the Janet Shirey Spirit Award tonight and acknowledge two outstanding PCEC members for their service, Tom and Edlita Shands. Tom Shands is a true steward of Livingston's urban forest. He served on the City Tree Board for several years, designed the official tree planting guide, was the founding member of PCEC, and was a founding member of PCEC's Livingston Loves Trees initiative. Tom pretty much gets most of the credit for getting Livingston Loves Trees up and running. He was involved in every aspect of the tree planting program that has already added 167 trees to Livingston over the last 2 years. From finding parks and boulevards or front yards that needed trees, to building relationships with residents that were adopting trees, helping folks apply for permits and locate utilities, creating educational materials, hand digging holes if you needed, of course, the entire tree planting planting process. He'll even water trees for people who can't do it themselves. Tom is amazing, and he's taught us so many things about the value of a healthy community forest and how to nurture and care for our trees. So thank you, Tom. Next slide, please. Now for Edlita. Edlita Shands, who brings her infectious optimism to serve people and our environment. Her leadership was instrumental in training and managing a bunch of young folks from the AmeriCorps team that painted and transformed our new office. And they kept going into the Lincoln School and painted the whole top floor. Edlita also deserves credit for furnishing our offices and making them warm and welcoming with a true commitment to sustainability. 100% of the items she sourced, the furniture, the art, the office supplies, the TV, the kitchen supplies, and so much more, were all secondhand and upcycled. Edlita has also been on the forefront of coordinating volunteers for tree planting, making quiches, and providing food for folks impacted by the flood, or bicycle tourists on the Warrior Ride coming across the country. And that she's been actively involved in education and outreach at the farmers markets, spreading awareness in the values about the importance of preserving our natural environment. Next slide, please. And in addition to their recent accomplishments, many of you may not know, but Tom and Edlita's contribution to PCEC started a long time ago, back in the 90s, when they planted trees and bushes in public spaces around Livingston. Tom served on PCEC's board. They were active members, they were volunteers, and you can even find some of our old newsletters in the office that they helped pen. Today, we celebrate the enduring legacy that they've helped build over the past 3 decades and express our heartfelt gratitude for their profound impact. We're honored by their commitment to success and how they exemplify a spirit of service and environmental stewardship. Tom, Lita, your passion and dedication make you truly deserving recipients of the Janet Shirey Spirit Award. Congratulations. You're an incredible team that will continue to inspire us for years to come.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I know my husband over here, the photographer, who took these lovely pictures of us up the Boulder Net. This was a big surprise, so makes me cry, but thank you very much. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great journey. And it's a wonderful thing to have returned to something that started out as sort of a reason to get together and have dinners at different places and try to do things in Park County, and with Sarah as a child, and to come back and return to such a strong and vibrant organization. I was just amazed at what had happened while we were gone. And then for Sarah to actually get reconnected and involved was really, I don't know what you know what that means as a mother. That's pretty powerful. Yeah, I'm proud. Yeah. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Oh, thank you, Edlita and Tom. I don't know if there is a person on this call that isn't crying for various reasons. So congratulations to you, and thank you for all your passion in our community and hard work, and congratulations to all the award winners. Now we're going to transition a little bit to things that maybe won't make you cry unless you're a numbers person. So we're going to the business section of the meeting. So thanks for bearing with us on this. It's a necessity for our rendezvous every year and part of our bylaws to share this information. We have a financial update coming from Erica Lighthizer, but I want to just, before we move to that, highlight the incredible and really professional team that manages PCEC's financial operations and outreach overall. Specifically behind the scenes, Robin Adicott is our operations director. I don't think she gets enough credit publicly. She's doing all the work in the background to keep our organization running smoothly and to ensure that our staff can be out in the community doing what we do best, gathering and doing all the good work. So I'd like to invite another behind the scenes person in the financial side, invite Deputy Director Erica Lighthizer back to the screen again, and she'll share a financial report. And then we'll go back to Michelle to close with our program highlights from 2023 and some goals for 2024.
Thanks, Sebring. Yeah, now for some budget. Yeah, I shouldn't agree to do both of these things. First, I'm going to provide a brief summary of our financial highlights from 2022. 2022 was a stronger growth year than we initially anticipated. At the beginning of the year, our budget was 682-ish thousand. I'm delighted to share that our actual income far surpassed our expectations, allowing us to invest in youth leadership, which eventually evolved into the Youth Climate Summit, as well as do some new and expanded work for wildlife. We brought in over 800,000 in 2022 and managed our expenses to about 780,000. Next slide. I'm also going to share a quick snapshot of PCEC's financial status so far for the year in 2023. Our fiscal year ends in December. Our projected income for 2023 is now roughly 946,000, which this year was an ambitious goal. But I'm pleased to report as of now, our actual funds raised year to date, including some outstanding pledges, have us at about 832,000, which leaves us a remaining target of just over 100,000 to meet our budget target for 2023. That said, of course, we would love to exceed our income projections for the year, because that allows us to start the next fiscal year in a really strong position to meet new and emerging challenges that inevitably come up. For example, like the attempt to repeal the county growth policy. So I'd love to express my gratitude for everyone who's contributed so far this year and those that are about to give. Thank you for your continued commitment and support of PCEC. That'll do it for the financial summary.
Okay, thank you, Erica. And now I think we've got Michelle rounding things up.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just gonna quickly share, I mean, in the highlights, you guys, it's always really hard to reach out to staff and we want to get it in neat little bullets, and it's hard to do here, but we've accomplished a lot. One thing I want to say that I think that our what we've demonstrated tonight is that this work is ongoing, it's intergenerational, it requires community, it requires us showing up. And we did that in 2023, and we're going to do that in 2024. And that is something that we are committed to. And that's what's really special about place-based community conservation, that we get to do that together. And what we celebrate every year is a celebration of all of our work together. And what we take on next year is really in response to not only our big picture vision, but the new and emerging challenges that we face at PCEC and in our community. I can go through the highlights. You can go back to the slide. I know I'm rambling, but so these are our 3 community programs: conservation leadership, healthy landscapes, thriving communities. In our conservation leadership, you've heard, the work this past year that we did was such an honor to work with youth at Park High, and especially with Mrs. Alicia Jean-Gaward for our Youth Climate Summit. We also are in our second year of our Hayes Fellowship, and that's, you met Jo at the beginning of the meeting. She's working to develop a community resilience plan and continued the really great work that Catherine did. Last year, we also hosted 12 AmeriCorps. Those are students from all over the country that came to Livingston, and they worked with our Livingston Loves Trees team to plant 100 trees. Our ambitious goal for Livingston Loves Trees is 1,000. So that's 100 a year for 10 years. I feel confident we're going to get there. In our Healthy Landscapes program area, we have fended off a gravel pit for at least a year. The threat, unfortunately, lingers. But we have a committed team of community members that live in Emigrant, and our goals for 2024 to permanently protect Section 22 for our community and wildlife. We also launched a new invasive weeds program. Many of you may have met or read our emails about Bethany's work. She's engaged more than 300 community members, 35 landowners, and local businesses. She's created a framework to study invasive weeds and efficacy of treating them that is now being replicated in neighboring counties and across the state. So it's been a hugely successful program. Max continues to work with our Yellowstone Safe Passages. There's federal funding, and we are moving the needle exponentially towards a wildlife passage on Highway 89, thanks to incredible community work. We also, as Erica said, we expanded our wildlife work in 2023, working on the wolf quotas, and did some really great bison engagement in 2023, which we hope to continue in 2024. In our communities program, Sarah, as our resilience director, we are still responding to the floods. It's hard to say, but it's very true. And some of that's really great work because we're bringing community members together. Sarah organized a workshop with federal resilience experts, and they came, city, county, and local emergency responders gathered to plan and prepare for the next climate event, which is inevitably going to happen. And we know that thinking about what that looks like and how to be prepared is going to make us stronger and more able to respond as a community when that happens. We also helped fund a full-time position for housing in Park County, and that was a huge accomplishment this year. Housing matters to our community, so everybody deserves, wildlife and people deserve a safe place to live. We want to make sure that we are growing in our urban footprint and not continuing to sprawl into the wild backdoor that we have. So that was a huge success to have somebody in our community committed to housing, so that we don't have to spend quite as much time doing it. The downtown master plan is underway. I hope folks are engaging in that. It's really exciting. That was a tremendous amount of work, but on PCEC's part to get that up and running. And then we have bear-proof garbage cans in 2023. Not only in Gardner, of course, they've had that, we supported that, but I have a bear-proof garbage can in Livingston, and I think we'll be seeing them more and more, thanks to our work. So 2024 program priorities, we're going to continue to work with conservation leadership. We brought youth from all over the state with Park High Green Initiative together. And I know the Park High Green Initiative has a lot of goals. We're committed to working with them, with Mrs. J, supporting that work, organizing students, and maybe, fingers crossed, getting an EV school bus rolling into Livingston soon. In the Crazy Mountains, Erica and Francine and Sarah have been working really hard on the Crazy Mountain Oral History Project, which will be podcasts and stories about the Crazy Mountains and why they are such an incredible and important landscape. Look forward to that in 2024. There's going to be a lot of exciting stuff there. Healthy landscapes, we're committed to protecting section 2022 or section 22 in 2024. That's the public lands in the Paradise Valley where there's a proposed gravel pit. We have big ambitions to permanently protect that place from gravel mining. We're going to continue to expand our wildlife work, our weeds work. In our Thriving Communities program, we're committed to safeguarding our growth policy, working to improve and update the current county growth policy so that people in our community feel like their voices and their are genuinely reflected in that growth policy, and that we all view that as a vision for how we grow together. We're excited to help finalize a downtown master plan for Livingston, the climate resilience plan. We're going to continue to work on disaster preparedness. We're going to plant more trees, and we're working with the community of Gardner to help them with their planning through the Gardner neighborhood plan and hopefully admittance into the Montana Main Street. Okay, those are 2024 program priorities. Give me a call if you want to chat more. And then with that, I think this is our closeout. What's our next slide, guys? It's a thank you. That's what I thought. So just want to say thank you to all of you for being here tonight, for our Tuesday evening Zoom, for being committed partners in this work, for joyfully engaging. Sometimes it's not joyful, sometimes we're frustrated. Thank you for that. It all matters. And a huge thank you to the next generation, and then the previous generations, and all of us in between that show up because we really, really care about this place. We care about each other, and we care about our future. It really matters. And don't forget to donate if you haven't already. I feel confident we will reach our goals with your help. And that I can't believe we're ending right on time. Oh yeah, Sebring, you have the toast. That's the last thing.
I do have the toast. I'm going to toast you and the rest of the team. Zoom is good. It's bringing together so many people from all over the place. And we want you all to raise a glass and salute our hardworking team members and community of Park County. We're so proud to be part of an organization that works as hard as all of you do to preserve our wild places and to sustain the beautiful lifestyle that we're so lucky enough to be part of, and also to help us plan for the future. So tonight, salute to you, PCEC.
Yay,
Cheers,
PCEC.
everybody. And I think that's it.
Yeah, and you know what? We incredibly ended right on time, but when we were practicing this, we said, if we go late, that's okay, because anybody that's Zooming on a Tuesday night might want to hang around. And last year, we left the Zoom open for anybody that just wanted to continue to converse in the Zoom space. So want to welcome anybody that wants to stay to say anything. We can do that now. Feel free to jump off. Our program is over, and we're no longer live. So this is a safe place to say whatever you want.